Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our inspirational interviews. I'm Hannah Levin with Heartfelt Wellbeing, and I have two very special guests that I'm going to invite on one at a time today to talk with you all about, or to share with you all, more, not really a conversation with you all, but feel free to type in the chat if you have questions or comments about anything that is shared today. We are streaming live on Facebook for this original broadcast. And you can find this replay if you want to, either in this Facebook group or on my YouTube channel. It'll be posted there. Heartfelt Wellbeing LLC is the YouTube channel. So just a little plug for that. So we're getting ready to do our autumn detox in the Heartfelt Wellbeing community. And this is a detox that happens when we're in this change from the seasons, from the summer to the winter, from the hot to the cold. And it's an opportunity for us to pause and take stock of where we are, what we want to connect to as we're moving forward, and also to clear out the digestive tract specifically, and also to clear out some, if we're carrying some emotional stuff with us that we need to release, it's a chance to really release the ama, which is toxins in Sanskrit. And so you may be thinking, like, why would somebody want to do a detox? Or I've never done a detox before. Or some people have contacted me and been like, I'm interested in joining your fast was one that I got. And I was like, we're not fasting. Like, that's not what I'm doing. If you're looking for that, this isn't your place. And, or other people are like, are you giving me a really specific diet to follow? So I thought instead of just listening to me talk about this experience, I would invite two amazing women on to share their experiences of doing a detox with me, and you can learn from them. And as I mentioned, feel free to type in questions. It is helpful if you give StreamYard permission for us to see your name. Otherwise, you just show up as a Facebook user. So without further ado, I would like to bring on my first guest, who is Kathleen Snellings. And I'm going to just give you a little bit of background on Kathleen before I invite her on. So Kathleen joined my year-long program for women, the Vitality Circle, in the winter of 2019 with the intention to continue with weight loss. That was her big why, what she wanted to work on. In the spring, she decided to participate in the spring detox. So we do a spring and a fall detox. So she did the one in the spring, and it provided a lot of insight on her journey. And she has had a really powerful mindset transforming journey since then, and living in the fullness of her life. And she says, Ayurveda has given me a framework of supportive habits, and the Vitality Circle is a safe and encouraging environment to take chances, to notice, grow, and learn. Kathleen bases her life out of Pomfret, Maryland, but she travels with her husband, Mark, for 6 to 8 months of the year, and her dog Biscuit, and they have a motor coach, and they travel all around visiting their 4 grown children, as well as hiking, visiting local attractions, and exploring farmers markets where they travel. And she's also a dentist. She enjoys cooking, scrapbooking, and being temporary neighbors with new friends everywhere that she lands. And she says, I love that I am becoming the best, healthiest version of myself. So without further ado, here is Kathleen Snellings. Yay! Welcome to Inspirational Interviews, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
It's nice to be here.
Yay. So tell us a little bit about your experience with the detox in the spring. I know it wasn't quite what you expected going into it.
Yeah. Going into the spring detox, I was a little overwhelmed with everything, with the everything that was happening in Vitality Circle. And I decided I'm going to go into the spring detox with at the beginner level. And in a few days into the detox, I felt like I really wasn't doing anything different because I was already not using dairy, meat, or sugar. And so I really started this thing with myself about you must be doing something wrong. And I started to really not be so nice to myself. And so before I knew it, I was doing the advanced detox. And then I was totally overwhelmed and ready to give up. And I consulted with Hannah, and she said, what's the deeper knowing that's going on? And at the time, I wasn't sure. But I did step back from the mono diet, and I finished the detox and then had some insight. And the thing that I most realized was that I may have been detoxing my physical body, but I was really poisoning my emotional body with not treating myself with grace and compassion. And so my journey in the Vitality Circle has really been getting in touch with how to love myself. And it all started with that clarifying time in the detox.
Oh, so powerful. And it was hard, I will say, for Kathleen. It was a little challenging. For viewers, I want to just break down some of what you just shared. So Kathleen just spoke to a couple things that I just want to give definitions or explanations to. So one was that she said, I started out doing the beginner detox, and before I knew it, I was doing the advanced. So just so you all know that the detox, there's 3 different tracks, basically, that if it's your first time detoxing, or you're recovering from being sick, or you've just had a baby or something like that, that you do a beginner detox, which is a lot more gentle. And then if you've been detoxing for a little while, or it's your second time, or you're ready to go a little deeper, you can do the intermediate. And then if you're very experienced, you can do the advanced. Part of what is in the intermediate and the advanced is to do a series of mono diet days, depending on your constitution. So you design what that is, depending on if you're Vata, Pitta, or Kapha predominant. And so that's where Kathleen, she was a beginner detoxer, but then she was like, now I'm doing a mono diet, and she wasn't quite ready for that in her detoxing journey, although apparently she was, because she went for it and then had these learnings from that experience of kind of forcing herself into doing something that was very uncomfortable at the time. And so then recognizing that wasn't necessary, but that she had taken it on as like, I must do something harder. And yeah, it was such a great learning, but it's, I love that you're sharing that story here too, because it's really helpful for people to hear, that it doesn't have to be hard, and we can make it hard on ourselves, right?
I'm an expert at that. But I think that now, going into this detox, I know how to feel. I know how to feel my emotions, so I'm not going to squash things, and I'm not going to beat myself up, and I'm going to accept whatever challenge I place on myself, but I'm going to celebrate the success and not beat myself up if one day doesn't go right.
Yeah.
And just,
right.
Just pay attention to making the next most healthy choice.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you had the experience of doing one detox near the beginning of your time in the Vitality Circle, and now you're doing one towards the end, and it's going to be a very different experience for you. So tell me also, or talk to us viewers about how this is different from other detoxes.
So the biggest difference, I think, is the ease in and the ease out week. Mm-hmm. Other detoxes I've done, it's been like 1 week of, all these rules and things, where the easing in week gives you a chance to really design your detox just for you. It gives you time to get yourself ready with support and community to help you figure things out. And that ability to customize it for yourself, that's really huge. Also, all the way through all 3 weeks, you have the community support and 2 calls a week. And I've never done a detox that had that much interaction to really help you get through the whole detox time. Yeah. If I had done the detox, what I did to myself in the spring, if I had done that without support, I would have given up when it got too hard. But I just took a little step back and still continued with the detox, and that benefited me greatly.
Yeah.
And also, denial and deprivation aren't part of this.
Yeah, that's really key to point out. Although I will say that comes in as a mindset piece, right? We could choose to see it when we're taking things out. So we take things out of the diet during the detox, and you could choose to see that as denial and deprivation, or you can see it as a focus on what you get from that is a lot more clarity and ease in your digestion, and it's not permanent. It's just like
I'm going in this time.
Yeah. So much of it is mindset of being able to see what you get from, simplifying the diet. But it's not about fasting or juicing even. This is not the time of year to juice. Anybody who's out there juicing right now, this is not the time of year to do raw, cold juices. So the autumn detox specifically is way more focused on eating warm, cooked, nourishing foods. And I love that you said that, Kathleen, that it's not about deprivation, because we hear the word detox and we're like, oh no, we're going to be hungry all the time. And while there may be some days where you feel maybe a little less full than you're used to, or you're eating a little lighter, there's no like portion control, or, it's like nourish yourself. Really, it's all about really deep nourishment, and letting the digestive system clear out and release and relax. So what would you say? So you shared a little bit about what you're looking forward to. Do you have anything else you want to add to what you're looking forward to with the autumn detox?
I'm really entering, just listening and seeking where my next, just clarity on where I'm headed next. Yeah. I know I have a lot of evolution and growth to go, and so I'm going to be listening.
Great. And your evolution so far has been amazing to witness. It's been incredible.
To go through it, yeah.
Well, I'm cheering you on every step of the way.
Yeah.
And what would you say to someone interested in joining this detox?
I would say that if you join the detox, you'll be detoxing your physical body and your emotional body and your spiritual body, and it will bring clarity to the next step. That's what I'm looking forward to, and that's why I'm doing it, and that's what I would say to anybody who was interested or even on the fence. Just go in it open-minded and see what clarity you gain from it.
Great. Yeah. Thanks. It is really a big clarifying experience for sure. And setting aside that time for yourself to have that journey and to really pay attention to how you're nourishing yourself, not just with food, but with your thoughts, with your activities. All of those things are so, so important. So thank you so much, Kathleen. Is there anything else you'd like to share with folks before we end?
Thank you for having me. And nope, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. What's that?
I said, see everybody in the detox.
Oh, yeah. See you in the detox. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your experience. And we'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Isn't she great? I love Kathleen. She is, oh my gosh, it's been so amazing to support her and witness her in her journey. She is a member of my year-long program, the Vitality Circle. You do not have to be in the Vitality Circle to do the detox, and you don't have to be a woman. You can also be a man. And anybody is welcome to do the detox. You're going to learn a lot more about Ayurveda and also about yourself. And I am really excited. More and more folks are joining. I just got like 3 signups today. So really excited to see folks signing up for that and getting on board with coming into the detox. So let's hear another story. We have Patti Franklin, and I'm going to read Patti's bio and then bring her on. So Patti retired in 2008 from an extremely stressful job. She was really completely wrung out, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And she had done nothing but work for 30 years. So she set an intention to find optimal health and well-being. She transitioned to a plant-based diet and launched into a personal journey through self-discovery and emotional healing, and took up the care and feeding and exercising of 2 beautiful horses. She met me in yoga classes in 2013. She's been a yoga student of mine for a long time. And she attended classes with me live regularly. And she joined the Vitality Circle in December of 2019. She says, wow, what a difference that has made. My 64-year-old body feels better than it did at 40. I have learned how to truly nourish it. She's reduced her size by 27 pounds, 15 during the Vitality Circle. She sleeps much better, moves more easily, and is connected to a group of like-minded and very supportive women. And she says, thanks to Hannah and my sisters in the Vitality Circle, I look forward to aging gracefully, well supported within a beautiful circle of friends. So please welcome Patti Franklin. Hi, Patti.
Hi, Hannah.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah. We've got some folks here live, so feel free to type in the chat if folks have any questions. And we're going to hear more about Patti. So Patti,
yes.
Tell us, what are you looking forward to in this next detox?
Well, in the first detox, I felt really luxurious. It's kind of weird. You think about deprivation and all those things you talk about, but it felt really luxurious to me because I had set an intention to slow down and really pay attention to the expansion of my stomach or digestion when I eat, and the contraction when I don't eat, and just how I was feeling as we took foods away, and noticing the differences. And also I felt very supported by the other people in the detox and you, and felt like very comfortable and look forward to the transition. So I approached it with sort of a curiosity standpoint. And as, of course, the center part of the detox, I did a mono diet. I just said, well, I'm going to do it as long as it feels good. And so I thought a couple days, but I ended up doing it for 4 days, which kind of surprised me. And I emerged with this unbelievable energy and clarity, as Kathleen said. I just felt just incredibly energized by it, and my digestion was completely clear, which felt wonderful. So it was almost like I was vibrating with vitality, and so I understand why it's called vitality now. And so I'm looking forward to, first of all, experiencing the same journey. And secondly, I'm looking forward to figuring out what it feels like to do a detox in the autumn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited.
It's a little different. Yay.
Yeah.
I'm excited. You're excited. Yeah. Tell us a little bit. You talked about noticing like being drawn to certain foods or different, how they feel in your body. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. Well, I think that when you're just out there eating like you normally do, you're not focused necessarily on, after each meal, to take a few minutes and just feel how it feels in your body. Feel, do I feel gassy? Do I feel heavy and dragged out? Or do I feel nourished? Or do I feel still hungry? How do I feel? And then as the day wears on, maybe you get a headache because you ate something that doesn't nearly agree with you. Then maybe you never noticed you got a headache before, but now that you're focused on that, you notice. So maybe you write that down and say, maybe I don't want to eat that anymore. Maybe these comfort foods are not so comfortable. And so that's kind of what I mean, that you take time to notice these things. And so you're focused on it, and you do. And I really learned how to appreciate, I was always afraid of hunger before, but during the detox, I really learned to appreciate the feeling of fullness after eating and the feeling of contraction as the day wore on closer to the next meal time. And I felt I could appreciate how that feels and how it feels good to allow that to happen. There's nothing scary about it. It really feels good and restful.
Yeah. So that's the concept of spanda that I talk about a lot. So folks who have done any Ayurveda studying with me, I talk a lot about spanda. It's a concept of expansion and contraction. So we feel that with our breath. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract, right? We feel it with our stomachs. When we eat a meal, they expand, and hopefully we're not snacking and we're allowing enough time in between, and we're eating easy to digest foods for our constitution, that we experience that feeling of emptiness too. And I love that you shared that you used to be scared of hunger and that feeling of the kind of end of the spanda, of the contraction before expanding again. And it's such a wonderful thing to explore that ebb and flow as an investigation of what does it feel like, instead of it, triggering something like, oh no, I'm starving, or, because you have food available. It's simply giving yourself enough time to fully complete that cycle of spanda. So.
Right. So I could have eaten,
Right.
And no one said, oh, you can't eat. But I chose not to because I wanted to feel what it feels like. I wanted to have the whole experience of feeling what each thing felt like. And I'm glad that I did that. I will do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to be clear to everybody, we're still eating 3 meals a day. We're striving not to snack. And we're drinking some tea in between meals. But the food that we're having is more simple and easy to digest. So it may not stick with you as long as more complex combinations of food or more complex foods. And so what Patty's talking about is just this feeling in between meals, or by the time she got to the next meal, she was, aware of that hunger sensation, and exploring that a little bit more. So yeah, it's very helpful to be aware of that emptiness and the psychological fear of deprivation, or, the stories that start coming up around that, and to recognize that we're really safe. And one of the pieces that I love about the detox is it really gives us a chance to tune into our nervous system and how it's triggered a lot of the time. And we're asking our body to digest food in a revved up nervous system. And so the detox really gives us a chance to take a little break from, consciously take a break, supported by a community of people, from being so outwardly focused and tune in inwardly. So let's see, I'm looking over your questions here. So yeah, you were talking about, did you want to add something?
I just wanted to say the biggest learning for me, well, maybe not the biggest, there was learning all the way through, but it was really interesting to add food back that we had not eaten, that I discovered, for example, that tomatoes are not my friend. And I love tomatoes, the way they taste, but I do not love what happens in my body when I eat tomatoes, too many. So that's really a very valuable part of the detox, is when things are added back in, you get an opportunity to feel what these foods feel like when you add them back in one at a time. So anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. So the flow of the detox is we take a bunch of things out, kind of the main culprits in our diet. So gluten, dairy, soy, corn, sugar, alcohol, caffeine. And that ease in week, as Kathleen was talking about, over the first week, you're just gradually decreasing those foods in your diet until that middle week, they're not there. And then you have an experience of eating just really clean, really fueling yourself with really clean fuel. And then the last week, as Patti just mentioned, is you're adding things back in and noticing what happens. And that is when the big learning comes in. It's like, oh, wow, there's, things that you don't even know are affecting you. Like you said, tomatoes, you were just eating tomatoes and dealing with how you felt afterwards without knowing that was the culprit. And so it's really powerful to have that experience. And it is, I think, really important to have it be guided, because if we're just left to our own devices, we're just like, whatever, right? We'll add the gluten, dairy, soy, corn, all the things back in at the same time. And then we might feel hungover or have brain fog or itchy skin or whatever it is, and not know what the culprit is. So, so you learned some good things about yourself. What would you say to folks who have never done a detox before?
Well, I think that it's important to know that it's not deprivation. It's very nourishing and very supportive. And you might think to yourself, well, I don't think it's fair of me to take 3 weeks out to spend on myself. I have people I want to support that are depending on me, and et cetera, et cetera. And I would just say, listen, we have 344 other days in the year when we can focus on other people. And it's worth it to take 21 days to just focus on yourself and your diet. And I promise you will leave feeling so energized and so wonderful that you'll be able to better serve yourself, your family, and your community. So take the time. It's worth it, and you're worth it. That's what I would say.
I love it. Preach it.
I'll do it again and again. I look forward to doing it. In fact, told Hannah a few weeks ago I was looking forward to the detox because I remember how I felt after it, and I'm not feeling that way right now.
Yeah, we're ready for it. And for me, I mean, I've been detoxing spring and fall for years now, and I started to look forward to it, even though I generally have a really clean diet. I generally take really good care of myself, but it's really helpful. And after you get in that flow of doing it twice a year, you're like, okay, it's time. You get to the point where you're like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready for a little reset here. And it really is a chance to reset and you decide, many steps of the way what the experience looks like for you. It's a very personalized process, but we're doing it all together in support with each other. And there are elements of it that are a little hard, right? But then we move through those, and then we reap the benefits of, all the energy, the better sleep, the relief of digestive distress, all of those things. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Patti. We're at the end of our time. Can you believe it?
No.
Do you have anything else you want to say before we sign off?
I just want to say, if you're afraid or nervous about it, just go ahead and do it, because I was afraid and I didn't know what to expect. And I don't like not knowing what to expect. But you get to choose. You get to choose every step of the way. And so just give it a shot. It's worth it.
Yes, give it a shot. Awesome. So I will post a link below this video here in our Facebook group to sign up for the detox. And that includes also a 20-minute one-on-one call with me, so we can talk through some specifics that will be really helpful for you. And then any questions or worries that you have, you can just let me know up front, and then I can help support you through the process. And you'll see Patti and Kathleen on the inside of the detox. So looking forward to joining all of you. Thank you so much again, Patti. Really grateful for your presence today and sharing. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye.